こんにちは、岡田先生です。今日は15課の文法のノートをデザインしましょう。ノートの中に書いてくださいね。で、止まらなければいけないときも止めて、またレビューしてください。Anytime you need to stop and review, make sure you do so. じゃあ最初は少し復習をしましょう。これは去年やりましたね。動詞を名詞にすること。verb to noun. How do we change a verb to a noun? じゃあね、verb を noun にするには、辞書 form verb を使ってことを入れると、これは noun になりますね、名詞。ことが好きです。ことができます。趣味は blank ことです。ね。走りますを使うと、走ることができます。走ることが好きです。走ることが嫌いです。私の趣味は走ることです。じゃあ少し練習しましょう。私の猫のことについて話します。これは私の猫です。私の猫は寝ることが好きです。私の猫は人と話すことができます。私の猫は外で寝ることが好きです。私の猫は犬と遊ぶことが好きです。でも、猫と遊ぶことが大嫌いです。私の猫の趣味は寝ることです。大丈夫ですか？はい、じゃあ今回の新しい文法です。We have some reviews and we have some new ones, but they are very much just building on what we already know. So I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. Again, if you need to pause and go back, you know that you can do so. じゃあ最初はこれを復習します。コロと暗い。覚えてますか？はい。じゃあね、最初は、これは両方とも approximates です。approximately 3 times 3回くらい。そのくらい or ぐらい you hear them both ways. So 3回くらい。approximately 3 minutes 3分くらい。approximately 2 weeks 2週間ぐらい。approximately 3 cats 3匹ぐらい。And of course we have this new one, koro or goro. This is an approximate and yet you give an actual specific jikan. So for example, if you want to meet a friend, approximately 3 o'clock, you would say 3時頃に会いましょう。3時頃に会いましょう。Or let's meet approximately in 2 minutes. 2分頃。That's not really a specific time. So instead you would say 2分ぐらい。2分ぐらい。Now, what would be a specific time then? Well, a specific time would be that time when I went to the park. No, that's not really specific enough. The specific time would be when I was young. The verb for when I was young is osanai. Osanai. So osanai koro. When I was a young child. Approximately at that time. Okay. So you're going to use specific times like 3時 4時 2時 11時 or you're going to use it for a specific time in your life like 幼い頃 or when I was in elementary school, so 小学生の頃 when I was a high school student 高校生の頃 and these of course act like a noun, so whatever modifies it before Remember, you need to do it accordingly to the modifying nouns rules. OK。じゃあね、次は他フォームを復習しましょう。今回の文法は You'll notice 他フォームがとても important になります。大事になります。じゃあ見ましょうね。他フォーム覚えてますか？他フォーム、ミニ B はんだ。全部他フォームは手フォームと同じですね。で、E の形容詞、E adjectives は買った。minus E plus 買った。なの形容詞、な adjectives は plus だった。例に、座りますは座った。大きいは大きかった。静かなは静かだった。はい。じゃあね、これを復習、レビューですからね。これを使って最初に他フォームを使いましょう。で、最初にこれを復習します。cause, toll, effect. We did this like a unit ago, I believe. If, cause, then effect. We use toll. And the things that we had to put in before toll, the cause part, had to be a plain form ね。plain form の動詞を使わなければいけません。plain form の動詞っていうのは present tense の辞書 form verb, negative tense は ない form verb、そして名詞 noun はだ、い形容詞 E adjective, leave it alone、な形容詞 had to add a だ。So for example, 例に水を飲みすぎるとお腹が痛いです。So before toll, I had to make 飲みすぎます into 辞書 form は飲みすぎるとお腹が痛いです。じゃあね、日本語は喋らないと had to change this to a ない form 日本語を喋らないと先生は怒ります。How about if it's a noun? 木曜日だと漢字の試験があります。How about adjectives? 字が汚いと didn't change it, didn't take off the E と読めません。静かだと had to put a だ there 静かだとよく寝られます。ね。You'll notice that the only way that we used toll was always if the cause was something that would be in the present tense. If X, then Y. Of course, this has to be a present tense form. So let's check with some that we have done before with the cause and the effect. Remember this one? 勉強をすると成績が良くなります。勉強をすると成績が良くなります。About this one. 怖い映画を見ると寝られなくなります。怖い映画を見ると寝られなくなります。Of course, my favorite. 竹をたくさん食べすぎるとパンダは太くなります。So, let's learn the new form. New form ends up being if or when the cause, then effect. In this case, because it's when something happened, you can actually use this in the ta form because it's past tense. And the negative, remember, negative past is nakatta form. で、名詞の場合は plus だった。Turn them all into plain form ta. で、E 形容詞 minus E plus かった。な形容詞 plus だった。で、例を見てみると、私は水を飲みすぎたらお腹が痛いです。日本語を喋らなかったら先生は怒ります。木曜日だったら漢字の試験があります。字が汚かったら読めません。静かだったらよく寝られます。 So take a look at the one that we had before. Difference between the two is one is in the present tense and plain, and the other one is the past tense plain. So let's practice that. たらを使ったときには、勉強をしたら成績が良くなります。と、怖い映画を見たら寝られなくなります。で、竹をたくさん食べ過ぎたらパンダは太くなります。では、最後ではありません。So we got that one, and moving on to this one. OK、じゃあね、少し復習しましょう。このやなどを使うときには、if you don't remember, go back to the last unit. Things such as を使いますね。これは list に使って things such as などに使いますね。じゃあね、the next one is very similar. Things such as も使います。This time it's for verbs. I do things such as します。たりします。So I do things such as drinking water and eating apples. 水を飲んだり、リンゴを食べたりする。Or I do things such as not drinking water and not eating apples. 水を飲まなかったり、リンゴを食べなかったりする。So how is it that I use it for a noun? Well, in this case, it's giving options. It's sometimes a dog and sometimes a cat. 犬だったり、猫だったりする。Like for example, the one that's nice. 優しいのは sometimes the dog's nice, sometimes the cat's nice. 優しいのは犬だったり猫だったりする。And how do we use keiyoshi adjectives? Well, it's again giving options, but a lot of the times when we use the tari shimasu form for keiyoshi adjectives, there's two choices and there's the opposites of each other. Basically saying that sometimes it's this way, sometimes it's the other way. 例に、試験は長かったり短かったりする。Exams are sometimes long and sometimes short. Or 公園は静かだったりやかましかったりする。The park, at time to time, sometimes it's quiet and sometimes it's loud. Okay? So, たりしますは do things such as verbs, or それか sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that, and that's used for the meishi to keiyoshi. And the final lesson of the day. The gift of giving and receiving. This one's a little hard, and this is something that you're going to have to try to memorize on your own. I'm sorry, it's not the last lesson. There's one more after this. But it's the one where you're just going to have to memorize this little map here. So we have to deal with personal and honorific. So if you are giving something to someone, watashi is the subject, and you're giving it to tomodachi, you're going to say agemasu. But if you're giving it to someone above you, which you would have to use an honorific, in this case sensei or haha, you would say sashiagemasu. Right? And if you're still the subject, and you're giving to something below you, like ototo or inu, usually not your ototo, in my case I consider my ototo lower than me, but inu, you're not allowed to say it to each other, but you can say it as you being the subject to someone that's lower than you. Watashi wa something wo yarimasu. で、弟に something をやります。私は犬に something をやります。Now, if I'm not the subject and someone else is the subject, then it would be 友達は私にくれます。They give me something. Right? Now, if haha was giving me something, this is not correct right here. It should actually say, let me write it in, くださいます。See if I can do that here. くださいます。Well, anyway, it should be くださいます。So if my お母さん is giving it to me, 母は私にくださいます。Now this next one, the E is a little tricky. This is receiving. In this case, I would say I am receiving something from someone. So I am the recipient, but I'm still the subject of the sentence. Do you see the difference between くれます and もらいます？私は友達にもらいます。私は友達からもらいます。I am receiving a gift from my 友達。Now, if I say 私は友達にもらいます。But if my friend was giving the gift to me, I'm still receiving, but in my sentence, my friend is still the subject. 友達は私にプレゼントをくれます。Now notice how もらいます does not occur from someone above you, and it doesn't occur from someone below you. And the reason is because もらいます to receive is something that is done in an equal level. You don't receive something from someone above you. In that case, you're going to change the subject again. Change the subject. You're not going to be the center of the sentence. It's going to be receiving. When you're receiving something, it's going to come from whoever that is that's the subject. So, 母は私に something をくださいます。弟は私に something をくれます。で、友達の場合は we can use もらいます or くれます。That's a little confusing. Come talk to me again and I'll explain it a little bit better. Alright, so 最後。This is a causative form that I want you to write down. この causative form っていうのは to make others do something. And this is not always by force, but it could be by force. You're not asking someone to do something. So, for example, 日本語1では座ってください。Please sit を使いましたね。座ってください。Now this time, I want to make someone do something. So, I am going to 座ります。座らせます。I make them sit. 座らせます。And this is not a command, but it's just a causative event. 座らせます。So if someone made me laugh, 笑います will become 笑わせます。If sensei is making you 書きます、作文を書きます it would be 作文を書かせます。Okay? Once again, causative form always happens from someone above you. OK じゃあね日本語3のノートは終わりました If you need to go back and review, make sure you do so. If you have any questions, make sure you email me or see me during class.